I'm Habeeba Yasmin, the exchange student of 2020 to 2021's exchange batch, and today I would like to share my experiences with you all. So, it almost feels like it was just yesterday when I was on a plane on my own, not really knowing what to expect, but excited for what the future had for me. Now, I'm back with a ton of memories, emails to answer, and a lot of stories to share. I really don't know where to start it from, but let's start from my exchange country's name, Japan. Exciting, right? So let's start. My journey began on November 18, 2020 during the pandemic. My exchange program was for a year, but due to the pandemic, it was reduced to 4 months. During my domestic travel, I was not nervous, but when I met the rest of the participants and started boarding the international flight, I was very nervous. I did not have any bomb or something like that with me, but still, constantly I felt that they would catch me and put me behind the bars or shoot me on spot. I felt so because it was my first international flight. As soon as we landed in Japan, we all were delighted to see the spotless and massive airport. After getting a negative coronavirus result, we were picked up by the AFS staff to drop us at the hotel for quarantine. For me, the 14-day quarantine felt like we were in a big boss house where we couldn't go out, just talk to each other and stay in. We did not have any fights though. AFS staff made our stay very fun by having interactive calls every day talking about Japan and its culture virtually. And in the evenings, we would just go out to the garden for the fresh air. After the quarantine, when we were finally allowed to go out, we boarded our flights to our respective prefectures. Mine was Fukuoka Prefecture. During my flight, I was lucky to see the active volcano Mount Fuji. It was a magnificent view. The day I reached was on Saturday and my school was off, so I explored the surroundings and dorm that day. On the very next day, we had arrival orientation in which we were introduced to our school and were asked to tell about our countries. I really enjoyed learning about other cultures and countries. The most shocking thing for others was to know that India does not have any national language. Instead, we have English and Hindi as official languages. On the first day of my school, I just got my uniform and was taken to the residential office for some paperwork. On the second day of my school, I finally met my classmates, and for the English class, they tried asking me questions about India in English. This class really helped me make close friendship with all my classmates. After school, we had a welcome party arranged by one of the first year class. All of them were very kind and patient to us. They had made many games for us to play. They even sang and danced for us. After a few days, we went on a trip to an aquarium with junior high school students. I can't tell you how cute and gentle all of them were. They took us around the whole place and even offered me fish to feed the sea. They even took us to the Ohori Park or the typical Japanese garden, to the Yanagawa city tour, and I know that they would take us to more if the state of emergency had not occurred. But this did not stop us from learning about Japan and its culture. Our school taught us about Indo Japanese culture, like Sado or the tea ceremony, which is exactly like how we learned about it in one of our Hindi chapters. Then comes Ikebana, Mochi, Yukata, Setsubun, Hinamatsuri, Miso, and many more. I went on Japanese subway when the state of emergency was not announced. As usual, it was spotless clean with people obeying rules and forming two lines in front of the door. I even went to Fukuoka Tower and the adjacent beach near Momochi. Looking at the whole city from 234 meters above the ground was so mesmerizing. I even had my first snow in Japan. Though it snowed very little in the area I was placed, I was very happy to experience it. I even went to few fun shops like the Pokemon shop and the Purikara shop. I was in a different country, thousands of miles away from the land of my birth. Yet, I had become so comfortable that it was hard to break away. My host family, Mr. and Mrs. Yanagi, took me, a total stranger, into their home, gave me food and shelter, and in only 2 short weeks made me feel like a genuine part of their family. Even after my homestay was over, they took me on trips as I was not allowed to go out of my dorm due to the state of emergency. They explored me through a lot of Japanese food and surroundings. They took me to the villages, to the malls. During my stay in hostel, either we ate noodles or buns or just went out to eat in Thai restaurant as it was the most delicious and cheapest option for us. But my host family just explored me through all the Japanese cuisines. A lot of changes in myself after coming from the program. First thing I noticed in myself was that I became calm from before. Now I know how to be calm and think positively in every situation I'm put in. I have learned the real value of money. I believe handling money is an art. And I did not master in it, but I have learned a lot. For the first 2 months, I would be broke just after 15 days of getting my stipend because I didn't know where and when to spend the money. I discovered a lot of alternatives for spending time instead of surfing internet. For example, a lot of DIYs like making bead ornaments and origamis. After experiencing another country, culture, and lifestyle, my way of looking at Indian society has changed a lot. Before going on this program, I did not appreciate a few things about Indian culture. For example, having too concerned people around me, consuming too many spices, having joint families, and finally, linguistic diversity. India is well known for its unity in diversity across the world. That means India has a lot of languages, cultures, and religions, and still standing strong together. Due to the several amount of languages, it is sometimes difficult to communicate with the locals of one area if you are new to their language. But now I think this is what makes us different and still together, defining unity in diversity in right terms. I had understanding of this from before, but now I look at it with more appreciation.